Good morning, friends and fellow traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, and this is the morning market preparation video for September 10th, 2018. So on Friday, we had that tariff announcement from the White House that they were raising the potential level to $267 billion. And we had that a bearish reaction just almost immediately, just really, really fast after that came out. But those bulls defended the support levels. And so you can see we have nothing here right now but a nice little consolidation. So we have this little consolidation above price support, above this key March support level, and we're still holding in this trend area. So a gap up through here would be fairly significant, and that's exactly what we're getting this morning. The bulls are showing no fear at the moment of the potential tariffs, and we're looking at a substantial gap up this morning as those bulls push higher. So you can see right now we're looking at a gap above these current prices. Right here is the current market open. Now it's still plenty of time before the market open. Anything can change. So gapping up above there is fairly significant. And we'll want to keep an eye on that. It would look like the bulls are ready to push off of this level of support and reach out for a new leg higher here this morning. We also want to be very, very careful and remember that whipsaws can be very possible at market highs. So as we push up here and we start testing these levels up here, just keep in mind that we could experience those whipsaws and still get those bearish attacks. And keep in mind also that although the market is putting on a very brave face ahead of these potential tariffs, if those tariffs do happen to be enacted, the market sentiment could quickly shift. So make sure you plan accordingly and be careful not to get caught up in this, that emotion, that whole fear of missing out. Oh my gosh, I'm missing out. And overtrade this market. So you'll want to be really careful how you enter trades. Remember, we want to buy stocks at or near price support levels, not at or near price resistance levels. That will help you create low risk entry levels, and if the market does shift and go south, you have less risk in a trade like that. So be careful not to chase or to overtrade until we see officially that those bulls are going to step through, push through those resistance levels, and look for that next leg higher. Let's look at the SPY. SPY did a really good job, again, of holding on to this key support level. This is that breakout high, that all-time new high. And on Friday, those bulls pushed back and held that key level. Now, although the way I have this uptrend line drawn, please keep in mind that uptrends like this are very subjective in how you mark them out, and they really should be kind of a wide line. There's a range in there, so depending on how you might draw that trend line can tell you it's an aid to show you what the market is doing. So the way I see this is the SPY is actually still holding on to the overall trend here. Holding on to this key support was a big deal. Now this morning we're gapping up. As you can see, we're gapping up here with the with the SPY pushing up here toward the high of Friday, pushing up here on that gap up open. That would be a good sign of potential follow through off that support level. So let's watch that closely. Also keep in mind, head fakes and reversals are very possible up in these levels, so watch it closely. If we take a look at the Qs, the doggone Qs didn't quite make or hold on to that bullish look. You can see my trend line here. There's not a whole lot of subjectiveness to that trend line. It's just moving. It's holding that perfectly. And this is where we failed. We failed that trend, and then we also failed the breakout to new record highs that we created right back over here. So we dropped back below. However, with the bullishness this morning, there is certainly a possibility. You can see where we're opening over here. We're opening up near that resistance level, and we could certainly see a recovery of that level occur. And if that does happen, then there would be the potential for more upside here in the market. So watch that resistance level in the Qs. If the bulls can push through that, they've reclaimed that level of support. That would be very, very important. Last but not least, IWM. The Russell did a really good job also on Friday holding this key support level. It was looking ugly there for a bit, but certainly popped right back, came right back up, holding onto that level. So we had a good, strong test there. The bulls are showing strength. And once again, we're gapping up this morning. Not quite to break that Friday high, but certainly pushing up, and a key hold in here is important if we want to see that bounce on higher to another leg up. So watch that closely. We're right at that point where we could really see those bulls push up and start that next leg higher. We're also at that point where if they can't push through there, if they can't get through those levels above, then the bears might be emboldened to take over. But right now, everything seems to be coming up roses, and the bulls are in charge. Let's take a look at the VIX. Now, I held over the weekend, I held some VXX calls. Those will likely be, well, I have a nice current profit in them, or I had a nice current profit in them on Friday. So there's a chance I could still exit those with a profit, but there's also a chance those could go negative today with this gap up this morning. And I held those for the purposes of just hedging my account. But this morning, the bulls seem to be large and in charge here. And that would be a good thing, because we were approaching this resistance level up here. And if those bulls do push back, we could see finally that fear begins to drop out, and possibly this inverted head and shoulders won't become a reality. However, there is, if you measure out an inverted head and shoulders, we want to remember that this level right here, that's the neckline, and a pullback to test in that neckline area could also receive that bounce. So we want to remember that we may not be completely out of the woods here, but we are certainly looking good, and the bulls seem to be in a solid control of the market, at least at the moment. So don't read too much fear into this. Market doesn't seem to be having a whole lot of fear, even in the face of tariffs. But like I say, if those tariffs, well, think about it. If you were the president and no one in the market doesn't seem to care whether we have tariffs or not, why not levy them? So if those do occur, please keep in mind that sentiment could quickly change. Watch that closely. Let's take a look at T21.22. T21.22, 4-week new high, new low ratio. You can see T21.22 was pushing down here toward this lower side, and that doesn't really tell us a whole lot. This down in here is that bullish reversal zone, but we haven't quite made it down into there. So what this is telling us is we still have room to move lower, but we have plenty of room to move higher. So lots of upside potential here if the market can come in, if those bulls really do hold those support levels and start pushing higher. Currently, Dow futures are looking at about a 90-point gain this morning. So the bulls are pushing, and there seems to be no fear of the tariffs in sight, at least at the moment. Let's take a look at the economic calendar here this morning. Economic calendar is extremely light today. We have quite a few things on the economic calendar, nothing that would be expected to move the market. Have a bill announcement at 11. We have a Fed speaker at 11:30. Two bond auctions at 11:30. and then TD Ameritrade, IMX, and Consumer Credit here, none of which are expected to move the market. So not much in the way on the economic calendar that we have to worry about. On the earnings calendar, had about 24 companies reporting earnings, but looking through those company names, there really isn't anything that I would expect would really move the market. Now, that doesn't remove the risk if you happen to hold one of those companies, but I doubt that they will be market-moving reports today in those earnings that will really move us around. So the market is kind of subject to his own devices this morning. No really economic news, no really earnings news to move it around. And if the bulls really do come in and push hard, we could certainly catch that support there, and that looks really, really good. Be careful of the political news if the White House does come out. At any time it could happen and levy the tariffs, then the market could react to that. So with that, everyone, hey, I want to wish you all a fantastic day. I want to wish you great profits. And I'm truly pulling for the bulls here, even though I held some diamond puts and some VXX calls into the weekend. I am really pulling for the bulls here. I want to see them bounce off of this level of support and move on up. So hopefully that is the case today. If this is the first time you've seen these videos, please do me a favor. Click that subscribe button on YouTube, the follow me button on Facebook. Click those thumbs up buttons and drop a comment. And always, always, always feel free to share these videos with any friends or family. Everyone, I want to wish you the best day ever. I want to wish you great profits. We'll talk to you all bright and early Tuesday morning. Take care, everyone.